I'm at the point now where I'm starting to accept that my house might be haunted.
Well, I think you have to.
Yeah.
Unless you're planning on moving. And I know you're not planning on moving again. You just got here.
Yeah, and I love this house. So there's like a really big part of me that's like, figure it out. Let's
Yeah.
bring some equipment in. Let's find out what's going on, right? Because I'm like, yeah, why
Oh
not?
my God.
And honestly, it'd be great content for us. But also, that's like a dumb horror movie white girl thing to think.
100%.
And that never ends well.
No, and we are both white girls.
We are.
So, you know.
But I'm tempted.
Okay, so here's the thing when it comes to haunted things.
Mhm.
And you know what? Maybe this makes no logical sense to anybody else, or maybe you can relate to it. I'm down to bring like EMF readers and stuff like that in,
Yeah.
or even like a spirit box.
Yeah.
But I draw the line at seances and Ouija boards.
Me too, which I think I've mentioned this before when I was like way too young, like probably 9 or 10 years old, when my mom made me and my friends a Ouija board and we tried to talk to the spirit of Selena.
Yeah.
Because I had just seen the movie.
Oh my God.
So yeah, no, I definitely draw the line at Ouija boards. And I'm like, we could do some like EMF shit.
I'd be down.
We could get some of those like, what are they called? The dowsing rods?
Yes, yeah.
Right? We could do that.
I've used dowsing rods before to find water, but I've never used them to speak to the dead.
We could.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like also, is that a can of worms that I want to open? I just moved here.
It's your house.
I know.
I'm down to do it in your house. I don't have to stay here after we do it.
You're right.
But that being said, I've seen enough horror movies with demons and ghosts and things to know that doesn't have to stay in the house, could attach to a person. So I'm not like, I don't know. You guys let us know. Do you want to see this kind of stuff or what?
I mean, we've been talking about doing ghost hunting.
It is true.
For like 3 years
and
now.
You know what? Why not start at home?
I guess.
If you want to start a podcast, start it at home. You want to start ghost hunting, start it at home.
This is how it ends.
Well, hey, at least it'll be an interesting conclusion to the last 3 years.
True. Hello, everyone. I'm Dina.
And I'm Charlotte.
Welcome to the Grim Curriculum Extra Credit.
Welcome, welcome.
I got some good stuff today. How about you?
I do too, actually. I've got some pretty, I don't know, Debbie Downer true crime stuff that's pretty recent. And then I've got a couple of funny things or just interesting things for you.
I've got one just speaking about ghost hunting that I want to start off with.
Well, why not? We're on the topic already.
So Ghost Adventures TV star Aaron Goodwin.
Yes.
Has filed for divorce from his wife, Victoria Goodwin, days after she was arrested in connection with an alleged murder plot against him.
Did not see this coming. And you know what's funny is I love watching Ghost Adventures with Cody because he just like razzes on everyone the entire time. It's a fun watch. You know, we know it's Zag Baggins. It's not real. Whatever.
Of course.
But when that popped up on my feed, I was like, Cody, you will never guess the plot of this.
It's crazy.
It's wild. She basically hired a hitman.
And you never hire a hitman. That is like the biggest lesson. If you want something done right,
you do it yourself.
Exactly.
Not encouraging anything. Putting that out there right now. Big disclaimer.
So Victoria is facing charges after she allegedly solicited Grant Amato, a Central Florida man, because it's always a Florida man.
You gotta tie it back, fuck.
He is currently serving time in prison for the murders of his parents and adult brother.
Wow.
He is currently serving time in prison for the murders of his parents and adult brother. Aaron told TMZ that he was blindsided by her alleged plot because he believed that they had a happy marriage. And according to social media, it looked happy.
Oh, man. Was it a case of she just wanted his money? You know what? I'm not sure of this man's net worth, but I can't imagine it's really worth that much to hire a hitman.
No, he's got that ghost hunting money.
Does he, though?
I mean, maybe that's how we're going to make it.
Maybe. I'm not opposed.
Me either.
But we'll do it a lot more ethically than Zach Baggins, God.
So investigators said that Victoria solicited Amato in a murder for hire plot to kill her reality TV star husband. According to court documents, he was texting and Facebook messaging Victoria while in prison.
Oh.
The two allegedly messaged about being in love, and Victoria told Amato that her husband wouldn't accept divorce.
Okay, but that doesn't... Just leave him.
We've said... Like, if I had $1 for every time I said that, we would be able to hire a hitman.
Just Leave
Just leave.
them. If you don't wanna be in the
Just go.
relationship, you don't even owe an explanation. Just leave.
Yeah, just leave. Walk
My
away.
god.
So the amount that she offered,
Oh, let's hear it, because if it's remarkably low, I'm going to laugh.
$11,000.
That's not enough.
That's not enough to kill somebody.
No.
It's really not. And initially she was gonna, like, pay him a little bit up front, so she was, like, negotiating how much she was gonna send this guy, and it wasn't enough. She is denying all allegations, claiming she didn't remember sending him these messages,
Uh-huh.
and was under the impression that the money was for cell phones, not for a murder plot.
$11,000, my girl?
Yeah,
You
that's a
think
lot of cell
I
phones.
was gonna say, whoever looks at his commissary account is gonna be like, What the hell?"
Yeah, exactly. So they married in 2022 and they've posted, like I said, several things on social media. They seemed very happy. 1 week before her arrest, Victoria shared a photo of herself and Aaron along with their pet cat cuddling on the couch.
You know, often men, when it comes to their wives leaving them, they're like, "I didn't see it coming, totally blindsided, like, this is out of nowhere."
Mhm.
And everybody else outside looking in is like, This is not out of nowhere."
Yeah.
But it really sounds like for Erin, it was.
Yeah, it definitely does. So I did some digging on Grant Amato.
Okay, yeah, he
Be-
does sound like a bit of a mafia type
yes,
fella.
I mean the name itself.
Yeah.
So he was convicted of killing his father, Chad, mother, Margaret, and brother, Cody, in Florida in January of 2019. So pretty recently.
Mhm.
Prosecutors said that Amato killed his family members after, get this, a dispute over his addiction to a Bulgarian woman that he met online.
Oh.
He had stolen $60,000 and guns from his brother to talk to the Bulgarian woman.
Okay.
And he also stole $150,000 from his father, including a loan taken out on his parents' house. He sent that woman over $200,000 in a 3-month period.
Whoa.
So, I mean, that's pretty bad. They were unable to reach a unanimous verdict that would have been required for the death penalty. So it looks like he is serving life.
But, that's my big question here is if he is serving life, how was he expected to carry out this hit?
Well, he was going to arrange it from the inside out, I
Oh,
guess.
I say. So he was just gonna be sort of the mastermind, but someone else was probably gonna do
I
it?
guess so.
Okay. But then again, is it really worth it to you if you're already in prison? You could have $1,000,000, but you don't have access to it, you're in
I
prison.
mean, that's gonna buy you a lot of potato chips and,
That's true,
like,
a lot of ramen
yeah,
noodles.
exactly. He's set for life with this
I
$11,000, but, I
guess
mean, you gotta pay the
so.
hitman too.
Yeah, and I can't imagine, again, $11,000 seems like a paltry sum to take someone's life.
Criminal defense attorney Jose Rivas, who is not involved in the case, he was specifically quoted as saying that, but he did wanna chime in, I
Okay.
guess. He said that Amato could help with prosecuting Goodwin and, in turn, possibly shorten his life sentence.
Oh.
He said, reality is most people, when they're serving a life sentence, they have no incentive not to commit any other crimes.
I mean, very true.
It's true. He goes on to say he could actually benefit from here if he's involved in another crime and he can provide substantial assistance to the state of Florida and help prosecute this other individual. He could possibly benefit from that and get a shorter life sentence or modify his life sentences, plural.
So, if anything, his involvement in this whole conspiracy, if you
Mhm.
will actually do him better in the long run because he can now testify against what's her name?
Well, he's really throwing her under the bus here. He's like, "Yep, nope, she wanted me to kill somebody. She wanted me to have him killed. Let's get some justice."
Wow, what a twisted tale.
You know, the biggest lesson that we've learned time and time again consistently throughout this show, I feel like, is don't hire a hitman. Like, I mean, don't kill people, first
No,
of all. Maybe, like, don't try to kill people, but hiring a hitman, I'm sure it goes right sometimes and we just never hear about it because it has gone right, but I don't believe it.
I feel like unless, and again, I'm taking all of my previous knowledge here from mafia films,
Yes.
so, like, how accurate this is, do not know. But to me, unless you are a part of an organized crime already and you like, yeah, Joey Salad Fingers, he'll knock someone off for you. Like, okay, yeah, hire Joey Salad Fingers or whatever the fuck.
But
like,
Joey Salad Fingers is gonna want more than 11 grand.
Exactly. He's gonna be like, yeah, I want 50 big ones. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like 50,000 is like
minimum,
but that's where it starts.
Exactly. And then, I mean, I guess this is our hitman's menu. What would you like? Select a combo. So it's like, oh, I'll kill him for you, or it's an extra fee to dispose of the body.
Of course.
Or if you want it to look like a different crime was committed, that's an extra fee. I don't know.
That's capitalism.
Everything that I'm saying is coming straight from mafia movies I've seen.
But I think you're right.
$11,000 is not enough to do many crimes, but it is certainly not enough to commit murder.
In this economy, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens to her, but not good.
Not good. In a slightly darker tone, some of you guys might have heard about this. This is a pretty recent one coming out of South Carolina. We're talking about the first US citizen to be executed by firing squad in a very long time. So this comes as of March 7th from Columbia, South Carolina. A South Carolina man convicted of murder was executed by firing squad on Friday, the first US prisoner to die by that method in 15 years. 3 volunteer prison employees used rifles to carry out the execution of Brad Sigmund, 67, who was pronounced dead at 6:08 p.m. This was pretty shocking to me. We talk about execution quite a bit because obviously it's a very controversial topic. And just as a byproduct of the crimes we talk about, it often comes in tow. I didn't realize they were still carrying out firing squad executions. I wasn't even sure that it was an option. But the 3 options in South Carolina are electric chair, which actually also shocked me in 2025, lethal injection, and firing squad. The reason Sigmund was in prison with a death sentence in the first place, he killed his ex-girlfriend's parents with a baseball bat in their own home in 2001 in a botched attempt to kidnap the daughter. He told police he planned to take her for a romantic weekend, then kill her, and then himself. So not a nice man by any means. Sigmund's lawyers said that he chose specifically firing squad because the electric chair would, quote, cook him alive, and he feared that the lethal injection of pentobarbital into his veins would send a rush of fluid and blood into his lungs and drown him, which unfortunately is fairly accurate to what happens. The details of South Carolina's lethal injection method are kept secret, and Sigmund unsuccessfully asked the state Supreme Court the Thursday before he was executed to pause the execution because he didn't feel safe about it. I mean, you're going to your death, but do what you will with that. On the Friday, he wore a black jumpsuit with a black hood over his head, and a white target with a red bullseye was put over his chest, over his heart. The armed prison employees stood 15 feet from where he sat, and that's about the same distance as the backboard from the free throw line of a basketball court, in case you were wondering.
Interesting.
That's what the AP article said. So visible in the same room was the state's unused electric chair. So this happened in the same death chamber where if he had chosen electric chair or chosen lethal injection, all happens in the same place. Visible was the electric chair and the gurney that would have been used to carry out the lethal injection if that's what he had chose. The volunteers fired at the same time through openings in a wall. They were not visible to any witnesses.
Okay.
They were separated from the chamber by bulletproof glass. Sigmund made several heavy breaths during the 2 minutes that elapsed from when the hood was placed to the shots being fired. This is a little graphic, so if you want to skip ahead a couple of seconds, I don't blame you. It says, his arms briefly tensed when he was shot, and the target was blasted off of his chest. He appeared to give another breath or two with a red stain on his chest, and small amounts of tissue could be seen from the wound during those breaths. A doctor came out about a minute later, examined him for 90 seconds before declaring him dead. Witnesses included 3 members of the victim's family, Sigmund's attorney and spiritual advisor, a representative from the prosecuting solicitor's office, a sheriff's investigator, and 3 members of the media. Sigmund delivered a closing statement that he said was one of love and a calling to his fellow Christians to help them end the death penalty.
Hmm.
So the US has kind of a rough and violent history with firing squad executions.
Yeah.
In the past, historically, they've been used for like traitors to the state, AWOL soldiers. Since 1977, only 3 other prisoners in the US have been executed by firing squad. All of those are actually in Utah.
Okay.
Most recently was Ronnie Lee Gardner in 2010. And it says another Utah man, Ralph Menzies, could be next. He is waiting the result of a hearing in which his lawyers have argued that his dementia makes him unfit for execution.
Oh, interesting.
They're saying not necessarily to release the man, obviously,
Yeah.
but they're saying, can we truly go ahead with execution when this man is not of his sane faculties, basically? Outside of the execution on Friday, there was the usual protesters holding up signs saying, all life is precious and execute justice, not people. Supporters and lawyers for Sigmund asked Republican Governor Henry McMaster to commute his sentence to life in prison. They said he was a model prisoner trusted by guards and worked every day to atone for the killings, and also that he had committed the killings after succumbing to severe mental illness. So that was what the argument was.
Mm-hmm.
But Governor McMaster declined his clemency plea. No governor has ever commuted a death sentence in South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Where 46 other prisoners have been executed since the death penalty resumed in the US in 1976. So since 76, we've had 46 executions in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single one has been commuted by the
Wow.
governor. 7 have died by electric chair and 39 others by lethal injection. So yeah, firing squad.
I don't know. The idea of lethal injection, because I've seen and read so many different things about it, that to me is horrific.
Yes.
And it sounds just because I've we've all heard about the botched ones.
100%.
Electric chair, kind of the same thing. It just, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like if you gave me the choice,
I'd take firing squad.
I would too.
Yeah, I think that would be my choice for sure. I don't, the chances of that being botched are much less.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know if firing squad is going to be a new thing. Like I said, we do have another guy in Utah that is up on the list for potentially execution. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with him.
Oof, that's a rough day at work.
No kidding. I'm not entirely sure. I did kind of look into it a little bit because the guys or the people, I should say, I'm not sure of the genders. I shouldn't assume. Of the 3 volunteers that carried out the sentence, they were volunteers, and I'm not sure if that means they were guards or prison employees that had volunteered. I don't know if these are members of the military that have appropriate firearm training.
Okay, yeah.
I actually have no idea. So if anyone out there listening has any insight to how a person volunteers for firing squad or like how that person is chosen, please let us know because I'm very curious.
Me too, because I mean, and also, you know what? I'm going to get really gross here, but I feel like I'd rather be shot in the head.
I also thought exactly the same thing, but any soldier will tell you when shooting a person, you aim for the largest visible mass.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think rather than 3 bullets to the heart, I would just give me 1 to the head and call her good.
I think of Andrei Chikatilo in
yeah.
Russia, right?
Yep,
Like they executed him, 1 shot behind the ear. That was it.
Boom,
and,
done,
like,
out,
I don't
over.
know.
Yeah.
Rough.
Can we bring up the mood slightly, or what do you have?
Can you please bring up the mood? Because my next story is really depressing.
All right, then let's start with this. Okay, so this is just a fun language thing, and I know you love birds, and this is also about birds.
Okay.
So actually, let's phrase this in the form of a question. If I said wind fucker, do you have any guess as to what bird that might be?
I don't know.
So it's an early Elizabethan name for kestrels.
Oh my god.
And you guys are probably like, wind fucker. I'm not joking. Wind fucker. But now, if you know the etymology of swear words, and luckily I know a lot of them, fuck actually comes from the term to beat or to push. So, therefore, a kestrel, when it flaps its wings, is beating the wind. Therefore, wind
I love
fucker.
this so much.
I loved it because I looked it up, and according to Wiktionary.org, this is archaic for the common kestrel, Falco teniculus. And I'm going to quote directly from it. I'm about to swear a lot. And just for funsies, I'm going to do it in my English accent.
Yes. Oh my god. Okay, I'm so excited.
So, if the term is a compound term of wind and fucker, it may preserve an old sense of fuck, to beat, to strike, which is also found in cognates. For example, the Swedish fucker, to fuck, thrust, or push, but was otherwise lost from English, and it can be compared to the regional synonym fuckwind. Wright's English Dialect Dictionary compares fuck in the latter word to fuka, to be driven by the wind. Instead, while Lieberman says the North word has no other cognates anywhere in Germanic. However, the synonym windsucker is almost as old and was rendered in older text as windfucker using a long S, so some scholars think windfucker is a misreading of windfucker or windsucker and therefore could also be windcuffer.
God.
Modern attestations of the second, vulgar sense, may be unrelated to the bird. So it's saying you could call someone a wind fucker, like, you wind fucker. And they're saying that is unrelated to the kestrel.
I love that so much. Oh my god, bird facts.
Yes, so fun fact, fuck comes from the Old English to beat or to push or to thrust. And yeah, wind fucker, a kestrel.
I love it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. Okay, this story is bad.
Okay, let's bring the mood back down.
A Connecticut man escaped, allegedly being held captive by his stepmother for over 20 years after setting fire to his home using household items, according to local authorities.
Oh dear.
A 32-year-old man has set fire to his home on February 17th after being held captive. The man, whose name has not been made public, started the fire with printer paper and hand sanitizer using a lighter found in his late father's jacket to ignite the blaze.
That'll do it.
While receiving medical care for smoke inhalation and fire exposure, he told first responders that he started the blaze intentionally, explaining, "I wanted my freedom."
Whoa.
Following an investigation, the man's stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, 56, was taken into custody over allegations that she forced her stepson to endure 2 decades of prolonged abuse, starvation, severe neglect, and inhumane treatment.
Oh my god.
Here's where it gets even worse.
Okay, frick.
Authorities discovered that the man, who is 5'9", had not received medical or dental care throughout his alleged captivity and received only minimal food and water. When he was found, prosecutors said he weighed only 68 pounds and experienced daily hunger.
Oh my god. How is he even alive?
Yeah, it's really, really just evil, this whole story.
Oh my god.
During a March 12th court hearing, the man told police that Sullivan kept him captive since he was roughly 11 years old. He knew his escape plan came with significant risk, but he was desperate to flee his hellish reality. One of the prosecutors said he lit the fire knowing full well that he could die. He had been locked in that room for 20 years, and for 20 years he'd been trying to get out of that room.
Holy cow.
Sullivan's lawyer is fiercely denying the allegations, including the accusation that she kept him captive. She says, "That is absolutely not true. He was not locked in a room. She does not restrain him in any way. She provided food. She provided shelter. She is blown away by these allegations." 5'9", 68 pounds, once again.
No kidding.
We think as the evidence come out, you'll see that she's not the villain she is being made out to be. Absolutely not.
Well, it's going to have to be a pretty radical lie for me to start leaning in her direction at this point.
Yeah.
I know innocent until proven guilty, but so far, the fact that your stepson weighed less than what? A grade 5 child?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so this is all brand new. The trial is happening on March 26th for just court sentencing. We will keep you posted with all of this, but this story is one, sadly, I've heard this a few times.
Yep.
I think we've even talked about it, but oh my goodness, just horrific.
The thing is, in my mind, my question is, where were they? Were they isolated? But then you think of the like Ariel Castro case where he had 3 women in his urban home for
Yeah.
years and no one knew. So as much as it's shocking to me, these cases where it's like, how could you lock up a human being in your house and no one knew?
Yeah.
But it's apparently easier than you would think.
It's terrible.
It's awful. I hope the truth comes out, and I hope that if it has been truly as torturous as it seems at this point, that I hope this dude gets justice because good heavens, that's bad.
Just awful.
Ugh. I'm gonna bring it back up again.
Thank you.
With just kind of a fun history fact. I was kind of going down a Salem witch trial rabbit hole this weekend a little bit, and I got onto the official TikTok of the Salem Witch Museum in Salem, Massachusetts, which
okay.
is super interesting. Definitely recommend checking them out. They're Salem Witch Museum, pretty easy to find. But they had posted recently that it is estimated that today 15 million people can trace their ancestry back to the Salem witch trials, which is mind boggling. So I thought I'd share with you a few famous individuals that can trace their histories back to the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
So first of all, we have Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh.
He is a direct descendant of accused victim John Alden. Lucille Ball, actually, is a descendant of accused victim Rachel Vincent.
Wow.
Sarah Jessica Parker is a descendant of accused victim Esther Dutch Elwell. Humphrey Bogart is a descendant of executed victim Anne Puditor. Benjamin Franklin, of all people, was the nephew of accuser Bathsheba Pope. I love Alexander McQueen. He is a descendant of executed victim Elizabeth Howe.
Wow.
Vincent Price, descendant of executed victim Rebecca Nurse.
That tracks.
Walt Disney is also a descendant of executed victim George Burroughs. And last but not least on this list is Charlie Day, who is a descendant of accused victim Mary Bradbury.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, if you're the kind of person that is in touch with their ancestry and everything, and you've tracked that back, I'm curious to know how many people are, as well as celebrities. There's 15 million of you out there, according to the Salem Witch Museum. So I bet you there's some of you out there, maybe even you and me, that are descendants of the people involved in the witch trials in Salem.
I've been wanting to do an ancestry test forever.
So have I.
Yeah.
But then I get paranoid about the people on the internet having my DNA.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's, to be fair, if someone has my DNA, it's already happened.
Yeah.
So there is that. I'm always very curious because we have some family history where, especially on my dad's side, we can kind of only trace it back so far, and then supposedly someone deserted from the army and changed their name, and so that's kind of where the history stops, but I'd love to know more.
My ancestry, my uncle did a family tree a few years ago, and mine is complicated just because I'm from Bosnia, and there was a war, and a lot of records were destroyed. So I really do want to do one because what am I going to find?
Not to mention for you, like the boundaries of the countries moved every 5 minutes.
That's just it.
So, 1 minute you're Bosnian, the next minute you're something else, the next minute you're something else. So yeah, I think yours would be super interesting.
I got to do it. We got to do it.
Hell yeah.
All right. That brings us to our latest strange and unusual death.
Woo.
Sometimes, you just got to do it for the show. And I feel like that's what this is.
Oh, okay.
Tragic singer bitten by cobra on stage keeps singing for 45 minutes before collapsing and dying.
I mean, that is commitment to the show indeed. The show must go on.
It must. Irma Buhl was known for wearing snakes during her acts, but the king cobra, which she danced with on stage, was not defanged. She was 29 years old and was performing in a village in Karawang, West Java, in her native Indonesia, where the incident happened. The reptile bit her on the leg and injected venom into her bloodstream.
Yep.
And this is on audio.
Oh, whoa.
The accident happened in the middle of the second song when she stepped on the snake's tail.
Ooh.
And it bit her on the thigh.
Mhm.
The star kept her show going, reportedly turning down an antidote from the snake handler after 45 minutes. She started vomiting.
Uh-huh.
After a number of seizures, she collapsed, was taken to the hospital, and passed away soon after.
Well, I believe king cobra venom is one of the ones that'll get you if it's gonna get you.
It will.
And you stomped on his tail. Ay, ay, ay.
Don't dance with snakes.
Was it worth it?
Ugh.
I
Woof.
admire her commitment to her show, certainly.
We just tried some interesting meat sticks.
Don't take that out of context, for God's sakes. If you want to know what kind of meat sticks, you're going to have to go on Patreon.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I think so.
And I want to do this more often because I like sharing weird snacks with you.
Yeah, if you guys want to send us weird snacks, shoot us a message in the DMs. We'll let you know the P.O. box. Go for it.
I'm down for just about anything. I mean, I do have a line, and I know you do too,
Yeah.
but pretty far off.
Yeah. So there you go.
Thank you all so much for listening. This has been the Grim Curriculum.
Extra credit.
Bye.
Bye.